Once again, good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to be in your midst this morning. It's good to be seeing your wonderful faces again. And I'm so glad to be standing before you. Like I've said earlier, I am your own. I was your ex-head boy. I was your senior, let me say what, senior colleague. And I was your friend, I was your brother. We've been in the system together. So don't mind whatever you are seeing elsewhere. Take me as one. And it's glad to be seeing your faces again. Beautiful faces. I think I'll start by commending you for such a wonderful result that you pulled during your SSC. I think you had, since my stay over the last 6 years, you had one of the best results, if not the best that Elias have ever had. But from my own experience, you had one of the best. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, look at faces. During that time, we just had a few persons topping that list. But you know, I just love the synergy that you're setting down. I'm so proud of you guys. So proud of you guys. So, it's not easy. I know it's not easy. So, I appreciate you for that. Then, I hope that it will not just end here. As you move on, the light that you are portraying will continue to shine from here. So, before I move on, I want us to just do some little gyration. Please, I want to beg of you that you put off all distractions. I know you are with your phones, you are with your laptops. If you are not going to do it for nothing else, just reference my time being here. And please, give me your listening ears. So, where I stopped, I said we're going to do a little bit of gyration before. And it's something we do outside the walls of secondary school. If you go into the university and you are doing student unionism, that's our way of greeting. So we are going to do that. Go and prepare. I know that most of you, a month from now, you'll be in the university. So when I say greatest Elias student, you say what? Great. Many of you should be familiar with it. I say it 3 times, you reply. I don't want to do the gbagba and the big. I will not do that one here. So when you get there, you do it. Or should we do it? Yeah. Okay, on your permission. I know you want to experience how it's been done. So, at the count of 3, I'm going to give the pronunciation and you respond. Is that clear? So, greatest Elias student. Great. Greatest Elias student. Great. Of the greatest, of the greatest, of the greatest, of the greatest Elias student. Great. Of the greatest Bagba. I can't teach you that one. So I say, of the greatest Bagba, I say Bagba. Of the greatest Bobo, Bobo. Of the ever articulate, dogged Elias, you now say Elias. So can we go again? We do it one more time, and we are perfect. So greatest Elias student. Great. Greatest Elias student. Great. Of the greatest, of the greatest, of the greatest, of the greatest, of the greatest Elias student. Great. Of the greatest Bagba. Of the greatest Bobo. Of the ever articulate Elias. Clap for yourself. That's wonderful. So these are things that many of you will see in the 4 walls of the university, especially if you go to or you apply for a university like mine, where protests and I'm a student of University of Benin, so protests and Uniben are 5 and 6. So we love protests, we love student unionism and all that. So most of you will be fortunate to go to such institutions. Many of you may not be interested in it. Many of you along the line who don't even have interest in politics or whatever, will come to love it. And you can even discover a passion or a purpose in it. So that's how life is. So this morning, I've been asked, or I'm privileged to speak to you on life outside school. Life outside school. Now, many of you are preparing to leave the 4 walls of secondary school. Many of you have even, like, when I was coming, I was asking some people, asking necessary, they said, no, outgoing. So many of you are already seeing yourself in such places already. So I would not want to disregard you to call yourself 3 students. So you are outside school already. And that will be perfected on Saturday during your valedictory service. So there's a life outside school. There's a life when most of you will leave your parents and travel out of your state. Most of you will still be in your state, but will not be in your parents' house. Most of you will move out of the four walls of your homes without being in an hostel in the school environment or a rented apartment outside the school. Like for me, I'm in a rented apartment. But I don't like to be in the hostel. I love to experience street and, to see. I don't want to be another. So I am in a rented apartment outside where I am. In a state where my parents are not in or where my mom is not in. So that would be the cases of many of you. Many of you that are pets at home, mommy's boy, mommy's girl, for about 3 months, 4 months. Many of you won't even communicate. Many of you will forget that there's mommy at home because of you are engrossed with academic. So I'm only trying to prepare your mind of a life that will stigmatize you, or the fact that you are living your comfort zone. You are living a life that you are used to a different setting entirely. So you must know that. You are living, no mom will be there to watch your phone. Nobody will be there to, even if they call you. Funny enough, there are some students, when their parents call them, mommy, I'm in church, but they are somewhere else. Because their parents are not even there to watch them. And even in cases where we have uncles, aunties in where you are, you can't really watch, to the private, or students will always be students, will always do what we want. So it now depends on you what kind of life that you want. So after establishing these facts, I want you to know that life will happen to each one of you differently. Many of you now are leaving secondary school the same time. But for most people, they may be fortunate enough that immediately after leaving secondary school, they'll get admitted. Some people may get admitted after a year. Some people may get admitted after 2 years. So life will happen to you all differently. You can see yourself now. Many of you even forget about yourself. That is life outside school, outside secondary school. Many of you may be fortunate to go to secondary school. Many of you may be fortunate. I would say you are less fortunate because even talented people are in public universities like me. Many of you will be held on by strike. And many of you may even have opportunity to be in a private school. And fortunately for you, your education, or let's presume your destiny, is not being owed. For me, I'm on strike, but my destiny is not being owed, if you know what you are doing, because I am engaging myself during this strike. But for many people, many of people have not even discovered their purpose. Once school is off, they are off. So you can see that most people will graduate from the university before the other. Some people may even enter the university much earlier, and be the last to leave. I have many persons during our sets, we gained admission before them into public universities, but their parents were gathering money for private institutions, and it took them about a year before they got admitted. But today, many of them are in 200 level, 300 level, but we that even got admission much earlier, I'm still in 100 level, second semester. Now imagine how bad it is. But it's not the life we should be living, but the situation in the country has programmed it to be so. So there's nothing we can do for now. But if there's anything we can do in the future, we'll do. And that's how we are trying to be with political leaders, so that we can go and change situations that we have in the country. So if you want to clap better. Thank you very much. So back to what I'm saying, like many other persons who got admissions late into private school are now in 300 level. But we don't say, I got admission first. We are still at home. So that is to tell you that life, time, destiny, purpose happens to everyone differently. Many of you may be quite fortunate. Many of you may not be so. But one thing I've come to realize that you must accept life the way it comes. Funny enough, I met somebody who was in your set. Was in our set. I think you were the one before you now. I met somebody who was in our set in the same faculty with me, in the same level. Can you imagine that? I wouldn't want to call name. The person graduated a year before me. The person is in University of Benin. I am also in the University of Benin. I was like, is this you? He said he's in 100 level. We're in the same faculty in the university. You where they punish me that time. We can't do the same level. No, that is life. That is life for you. And that's why I always advise people, wherever you are, be good. Be what? Be good. And that's one thing I do. When I was here, many of you felt I was probably being wicked to you. When I say come to assembly early, put on your tie, dress well, look professional. You know, all those things. In the hostel, we had a lot of fights. But I thank God that most of you will see me tomorrow and smile. So I saw this person in 100 level. The same level with me. And he graduated before me. That is what they call life. Now, one thing I want you to know is that do not be pressured. That's one thing I want you to know. Many of you, in fact, someone from my set called me and said, this one is not in the university because he doesn't even chat with me. He doesn't even call me again. I said, it happens. It's bound to be like that. Most of your friends who you were playing together, and most of them will become proud. They'll become arrogant. They see you. They feel they are better than you. And situations like that. This will happen in the first 6 months to 1 year of your staying at home. Mila, why are you talking? Communicate with me. So this will happen in your first 6 months to 1 year at home. You feel this pressure. Why is mine like this? Why am I not in school? In fact, some people will come and tell you, come and do Miracle Center. Most places might even write jam and work again. It is life. I'm only trying to prepare your mind. I'm not saying anybody has a bad luck. I'm not praying that it should happen to you. But whatever happens to you, take it like that. And build positivity outside the negativity that you have in your life. So I'm not just making up all these stories to make anybody feel bad or to point out on anybody. I'm only letting you know that this is the reality of life. Things will happen. Many of you now are happy. You feel you get to the university in about 3 months' time, 4 months' time. But what if you do not? What if, I'm not praying for you, what if the person writes jam 5 years after? What if the person doesn't go to school 5 years after? What if the person becomes a school dropout? What happens? So you must prepare your mind. You are leaving the 4 walls of school now, where mommy will tell you, come and do this. You must start making decisions that will shape your life. From now, you must start deciding for yourself what you want, the kind of life that you want to live, because life can happen to anybody. I tell people, I lost my dad at age 3. I never wanted it to be so. I wanted to grow up to have someone to call my daddy. I wanted to know how having a father feels. When my friends say, my dad is coming to pick me, but me, I don't get papa. But it did not mar me. I accepted the challenges as it was. And I can tell you categorically that standing before you here, the boy that doesn't have father is Nigeria's youngest political appointee. The boy that doesn't have father moved on to achieve many other things. So I've only come here to tell you that when life gives you lemon that is bitter, turn it to what? Lemonade, and make a juice out of it. So life, I'm not saying anybody will lose his father here or his mom here. No, don't think that way. God will help us. But what if a situation, nobody plans for bad situations in life. But what if, can you navigate your way through? Can you still be that person that God wants you to be? Most persons, the moment they lost their dad, that was when their life changed. If you go to the streets today, you see many of them who are touts, who are, hooligans. And you ask them, where did the chronicle of this start? They tell you, now when I lost my papa, I come off for house. And situations like that. And environment turned them to be what they are. And I usually say it, many of those persons that you see on the streets, many of them are supposed to be governors. Many of them are supposed to be president. Many of them are supposed to be industry captains. Just imagine Agida now, smoking and sagging and say, oh boy, kilo shele. You'd have imagined, look at the opposite. The life I'm living now, and the life that many other young persons who should be doing what I'm doing, are currently facing. So in all situations, I don't know why Maruf is smiling though, but in all situations, ensure that you give life the good part of you. You give life the good aspect of you. Life outside school will be challenging. Many of you will go to the forwards of the university. You meet people that you've not met before. You meet people who are coming from broken homes. You meet people who are coming from the yard where they smoke. You meet people who are cultists. Even in my set, in 100 level, we had a lot of 100 level students who are cultists. Many of them are even 25. They are old enough to be my older brother because life also happened to them. You meet different people, different set of persons. But I've come to tell you that when you live here, do not forget the son or daughter of whom you are. Many people, when they get into the university, their life changed to something else. Many people, when they go to the university, they got influenced by friends. You see pretty young girls who got to the university decency, with so much decency. When they go there, because mommy is not there to say, who is that boy calling you? Who is that girl calling you? I'll be realistic with you. You see a lot of 100 level girls parading the houses of their male genders. And they are doing all sorts of immoralities. These are people from modest background. These are people from modest home. But along the line, they picked up one bad habit or the other. Because it is very easy to pick up a bad habit. But it is hard to unlearn. But it's easy. You see people who will influence you. You will see guys who are into yahoo, bringing their big cars, their big jeeps, and you'll be like, you as a girl man, you're supposed to be chilling with all this kind. You will see some set of girls who were even doing hookup before they got into 100 level. Many of you don't like to hear these things, but we need to tell you now. You will see many of them who were into prostitution. They are hardened set of people before getting into 100 level. And they still continue with their lifestyle. But when they come to class, they wear the expensive wigs, they come with the most expensive phones, and you feel intimidated. Because you are human, you have feelings. You want to feel intimidated. You want to feel, no, I should be living a better life. It's normal. But I've come to advise you that what? Stick to whom you are. Now, I want to tell you categorically that while you are getting into the four walls of the universities, there are three sets of persons that you meet in your life. The first set of persons are those that are below your mentality. Those that are below your training, your moral standard, your principles. They are the first set of persons you will meet in the university. Then the second set of persons you will meet are those that are close to your moral standard, or those that are equal to your moral standard or your training. Now, the third set of persons you meet are those that are modest than you. Of course, you meet people like that. I just love this young man lifestyle. I love what he does. I want to be like him. Those are people that are above your moral principle, your mindset, your thinking. Those are the three sets of people you will meet. But I've come to tell you that the only two sets of people you have business with are those that are what? Close to being what you are, or are what you are. And the second category are those that are above you. You see, the ones that are below you don't have anything to do with them. Study people, be observant. When you get into the university, don't talk too much. Be that quiet person. Just stick to yourself. When I got into the university, I already got in my political appointment before I got into the university. But when I got to class, I was modest. I wasn't proud. I was just myself. Studying people. Whom do I? Because I don't keep friends. But when I keep you as a friend, it means that you have passed a lot of tests. I'm not being difficult. It's just my principle. So don't just be mindful of the people that you keep around you. Guide your heart. Guide yourself. The kind of first set of persons I spoke about, those that are below your moral principle. Many of you, there are morals that you have. There are morals that originally you know, you were trained with from your home. That, okay, when you wake up in the morning, read your Bible, don't steal, don't do this, don't do that. Those are morals that you have already imbibing with you. But when you get to the forwards, you will see those that are, this one is a spoiled brat. Those ones are below your moral standard. they steal, they do fraud, they do a lot of, they don't even read Bible, they don't go to church. You see many boys, they prefer to be at home every Sunday. But you know your parents in the morning, they'll call you, for most of our fathers, they tell you, if your mommy doesn't, if you don't do for, I will leave you and go to church. Oh. You see that kind of energy that your parents brought you up with. You now get to the university, you now allow somebody who is not up to your standard, bring you below the level that you are supposed to be. So that is why you cannot expect to be an eagle and flock with chickens. So don't flock with those set of people in your life. Those ones that are below you, move far away from them. Most of them will say, that guy is proud. He just walks into the hall, he doesn't talk to you. I remember during lecture, I just walk into the hall, this decent guy that dresses, and a lot of them will be like, this guy dressed well. I want to move into the class and do my usual stuff and leave. Most of them will say you are proud, you don't like to talk. If you can be proud to keep your decency, please do it. Don't change who you are to please anybody. Because people will not be satisfied. If you do wrong, they'll talk. If you do right, they will still talk. I remember when I got my appointment as the youngest political appointee in the country, some person said, this boy, you are running faster than your age. Are you not too young? Are you not missing out on what the society is? Your mates are. Now, if I had started 50 years old, some people say, you are late. You start young, they say you are young. You start, so that society will always have something to say about whatever you do. They always want to define you. So the best thing is to do what? Do yourself and live what? The purpose that God has given you. Just be neutral. Don't try to please anybody. Let them say anything. So long as you are doing yourself, continue to be yourselves. So the first thing I said is that what? You meet a lot of different sets of people in the university. Don't bow to pressure. I think the second I also made mention of was that many of you will go far. Many of you might be doing well than the other. It's just life. Some people might move away from here and all of a sudden, maybe those that love to sing, I know you love to sing and dance. You can live away from here and, at age 20, he gets signed by very popular artists. The Rema that many of you sing of today, Rema was a school dropout. He's just applying for university, but today he's making his money. But I don't advise that kind of lifestyle. I'm using it for an example. But he's making his money today. But he was a what? School dropout. So no matter challenge you face in life, no matter who is doing, I know many people in my set who even feel intimidated by what I do. So the best thing I do is to carry the few I can carry. I can't carry everybody along. There are many persons in my set that anywhere I'm going, they're always with me, even till now. I just identify because you can't keep everybody around. But if you are watching to help others, bring them along. So those three categories of people I've mentioned, the last one, you have nothing to do with them. The ones that are below your standard, keep them away because they will influence you. And it's so very easy to influence. Jeanette, come, let's go and see that boy now. No way, nothing will happen. From there, you lost it. And from there, it starts from there. But if they say, come and learn this skill, it will be very hard. So you must be careful with those kind of people so they won't influence you. The two set of persons you need in your life, identify them the moment you are walking into the university block. Identify them. Who are those that are modest? Most of them may pretend, but they can't pretend for so long. 2-3 weeks, in fact, you see many people, they are calm. You know how I used to be now. When you just walk into a new environment, everybody is calm. But you see those, whether they are new or not, they are rascals. There were those kind of people in my set. The first day they entered, why can't you, are you not reserved? You will see those ones, they show their true colors. But there are some that, 2 weeks, they are still trying to blend. But the third week, so this boy is like this. And the first week, he was very calm. So you have to give yourself time. Don't just be picky. Don't be in a haste to have friends. Don't entertain too much persons in your life. Be picky. Be picky. When you pick, maybe you don't like onion in food, you pick it. You judiciously pick those onions out. You have to be picky with the kind of friends you keep in your life. Wait for it might even take about a semester. You understand? I'm not saying you shouldn't interact with people though. When you talk about friends, everybody shouldn't even be your friend. Not everybody in this class should be your friend. Yes. Friends are persons that are close to you. You can have colleagues. You can have acquaintances. You can have people that you can just walk up to, maybe when you are bored. How far, let's stop. If the discussion is already going, you leave them. Like I said earlier, you must define relationship. They are friends, they are colleagues, they are associates. Do we still have more? I think the list is on. I think I saw a list of relationship. You can have a spouse, you can have a partner, and but you must be able to define who your real friends are. Who are those that you keep around you? Those ones should be persons that are what? Thinking far from you. Or those that are close to what you are. You see some friends, be like, I go church, it's my interest, but I'm not just receiving that energy. Those kind of people, that they have interest in it. If you can influence them, fine. Keep yourself around those kind of people so that you can tag them along, like I said earlier. You understand? But when you now notice that there are this kind of set of people that they are good academically, they are just this unique set of people. You find people like that. We cannot be the same. There are persons who I still admire today. Hallelujah. Please reduce it small. There's no need. I think you can all hear me now. So these are the kind of persons that you should keep around you. Persons that are far above you, persons that think different. You will know. When you see people talk, people of your age group, be like, no, I sabi talk, but this one sabi talk past me. I get wisdom, but this one get wisdom past me. You understand what I'm saying? Don't envy anybody. Most people today, they envy people that they should be learning from. The only reason why I can draw some friends to me for my set was because they were willing to learn. Most of them just came to me, because I started this when I was in SSS. They said, this thing I want to start doing it. But there are some, don't mind him. He's always the one there. He's always the one on the assembly. They were envious. I can't keep those kind of toxic people around me because they will in one way or the other inflict me with their toxicity. Their toxicity, whatever they call it, please. So you have to keep those kind of people far from you. Are you with me? So don't envy anybody. You all have what? Different purpose, different destiny. So the most important thing that you must do is work on identifying your purpose, your destiny. If you know your lane, if you know that I know where God wants me to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now. So if God wants me to probably be owning a car at age 20, and somebody is buying a car at age 17, congratulations, my brother. I'm so happy for you. My time go come. Now is not my time. Don't go say, how can this 17-year-old own a car? No. You now start doing yahoo. You want to conform to the society. No. When you know the plan of God for your life, the purpose of God for your life, you are to what? Stick to it. You won't be intimidated. If you know what you carry, if you know whom you are, you shouldn't be intimidated. That is another topic we need to address on its own, but that's what I've been called to address. But I'll still touch a little. It's on purpose discovery. Many of us still sleep, wake up, go to school, come back, sleep, and that's how your daily activities program. There's nothing new. You are not trying anything new. You are not developing a skill. You are not investing in yourself. You are not trying. You are just living a normal life that the society has conformed you to live. I remember when I was still in the hostel, I used to call them together. What is your skill? What is your talent? I was still growing though, but I was still trying to. You need to develop your skill. You need to develop your talent because those are things that will help you. So you must what? Find time to develop your purpose. Not all this you are doing on TikTok. I want to be beautiful. I will see many. I don't know. Many of them are not here. I should see them on Facebook. They do TikTok and they are. No. I'm serious. Many of you. I think I met a trainer here who was talking about the social media and all that. Many people are now using social media for something else. I can categorically tell you that the young man standing before you here got his political appointment from Facebook. The person who gave me, the commissioner who appointed me, listen to this one. The commissioner who appointed me as a special assistant, I met her on Facebook. I've not seen her before. I've not been to Osun State before. And I think we're discussing something like the use of social media. And I met her March last year, and I did a program where I brought her on. The program, I was also using social media. I was doing Instagram Live. The many of you who were following me will be familiar with what I was doing there. I was doing Instagram Live, bringing a lot of popular guests, commissioners, some set of people on my program. And it took me not until a year with consistency of doing what I was doing and probably improving on it. It was after a year I now met this woman. I never knew I was going to be in the 4 walls of politics. I just had interest in politics right from secondary school, and I knew it was my God. I remember when Mr. Doyobi just walked into the class and I said that a governor will come from this class. Where I was sitting, I said, oh, Baba, na me. You know, he used to do it a lot. He would come into the class and say, I see a president in this class. I said, oh, could you still remember? And he would say, and I say, God, na me. So, these are little things that you should look out for. What are your purposes? How do you develop them? What do you use? What God has given you, what do you use them for? You won't see me on social media going to Buhari's page and commenting. And many young people do today. They're always rushing to Insta blog. I'd rather want to be on Insta blog, like I did recently by the grace of God, than going there to be reading nonsense on Insta blog. Is that clear? So your phones, what do you use them for? I know many of us now, young people in this generation, we are now so engrossed with the internet and moral decadence, and many people now use the phone to watch rubbish, to watch nonsense, and they've lost their purity, they've lost because of pleasure. So you must start using your phone, just like God helped me, and I got an appointment from just a Facebook message that I sent to somebody who was higher than me, because I didn't want to flock with those that were below. I wanted to, those that can inspire me to achieve what I wanted to become. I was moving with those kind of people, and I kept messaging them, I kept commenting. Don't get me wrong, you may not get a response the first time you message. I'm not saying because you two will now go and get I'm only trying to make good use of social media. Follow people that will inspire you. Where do you want to be? Many of you now know where you want to be 10 years from now. You should even know that. How many of you know what you want to become from here? How many of you know? Okay, that's good. Many people know that this is where I want to be. Fortunately, many of them, that may not even be where God wants you to be. I remember when I was very young, I said, no. I was going to do law. I was going to, there was a time I was doing a lot of pastor stuff and all that. But though my life still exalts the glory of God. But there was a time I hated civic. No, I later loved it. So I hated civic at some point because with this subject, history. Once Sister keep having this entry in the class, I say, civic, what is all this pre-colonial? But he was also my mentor while I was in JSS 2 or JSS 3. He was also my mentor. During this mentorship he used to do. But when I go to SS1, I began to, this civic education that I never loved, I began to find interest in government. Now when Mr. Elias enters the class, I say, Mr. Elias, today let's do campaign. Because maybe we are treating political campaign or whatever. I say, Uncle, let's do the practical. I'm going to be the PDP candidate. And I'll just come out in the class. And I was practicing the future that I wanted. So many of you should start practicing the future, even though you are not seeing it yet. You must start living in it. Many people celebrate me today on social media. They never knew that every time I'm doing, I started from when I was walking in the street in the night. When I walk in the street, I'll be walking, I'll be say, yeah, good day, I am Emmanuel Agida, and the presidential. Yes, many of you don't do it. That when you now start talking, you know this as somebody looking, you not say, they should not think I'm a mad person. Many of you, when you are bathing, when you are taking your bath, you talk to yourself, you act, you do a lot of those funny things. Those things that you feel, those things that you think, now listen, let me get your attention back. Those things that you feel are inconsequential. If you keep doing them intentionally, just like I was doing, it's going to help you. Because your mind cannot achieve what it hasn't proposed. You cannot feature in a future that you haven't pictured. I've jumped a remark. So, rather than, you cannot what? Feature in a future that you haven't pictured. So you must have seen yourself doing those things that you want to do. The same way you cannot walk in a vision that you haven't envisioned. So those things that you want to become, you need to see. There was a time I'll be sitting down and only me in the house, I'll be like, Why would you brought the office file? I'm going to tell the commissioner to deal with you. You know, those things. No, I was doing them actually. And I was just doing them for fun. I will be realistic with you. I'm the kind of speaker that will tell you the real truth. And most of you feel that there's something wrong with me upstairs. But the day they showed me my office as the essay to a commissioner, I'd even forgotten those things I used to do. It was when I now sat down on the office, in my office. Many of you were following me on social media. I must have seen most of those pictures. And I sat down that first day in my office. I was like, me, secondary school leaver, in your office. So along the line, when most of those things that I was practicing in the inner chamber, like I used to call it, when those things started happening, I'm like, this thing looks familiar. This attitude, this charisma, I've been practicing it before. The manner at which I handle things now, I've done it before. And that's why we advise most of you that when you wake up in the morning, if you have a mirror in your house, go to your mirror, go in front of your mirror and speak to yourself. Emmanuel Agida, I'm going to make it. Maruf Faida, I'm going to make it. No, Maruf Miriam, I'm going to make it. Ugona, I'm going to be the best. Talk to yourself. Speak to yourself. Speak to the mirror. Yeah, Adigo, I don't like side talks when I'm talking, please. So you must what? Be connected with your inner man. And your inner man is what pushes you out to even do something many of you don't know. There's a creativity in you. There's a God in you that God has put himself in you. So it is until you begin to activate those things with your mindset. Don't see anything. It's impossible. If they ever told me when I was in secondary school that at the age of 17, I was going to be political officer, that said, Amy, Kinimomo. I didn't know it, you know. I wasn't the best student actually. So I wasn't even. But because I never saw any mountain as insurmountable. I never saw that I couldn't do anything. I believe that once God has said you are going to get here, you're going to get there. If you do the right thing and you hold him fervently. That's what I'm saying. If you hold God fervently, he's going to help you. So these are things that you must begin to do. Work on your mindset. Beyond education, what else can you do? Like the young lady sitting beside me is an author. She recently authored a book. And I also authored my book while I was in secondary school, in SS2. SS3, I authored my book. So all I'm saying is that most of you may not have started those things while you were in secondary school. But the most important thing is that you are very young. Engage yourself with things that will help you. Don't just be like the normal Nigerian. Don't just be like the classical Nigerian. Young person who just come, wants to go to university, get a degree, go and work. What kind of a life, boring life is that? Get married, I know now. You must do so. Like our uncle now, he acquired a skill in photography. And today it's fetching him money beyond. So you must acquire skills, invest in yourself, develop yourself, get more knowledge. Whatever I'm saying now today, it is not dropping from, though there's a Heavenly Father who feeds me with those things. But because I have I've developed myself, I've read books, I've followed people, I've learned from personal experiences, I can come out and speak to you. And many of you now, you see me talking with all confidence and all boldness. I'm like, how is this guy doing? Whenever I forget that it started when I was in SS1, SS2. Well, many of you witnessed a lot of those things. So it shouldn't be strange to you. When in the morning you see Agida on the assembly ground, I made use of that stage very well. And today, by the grace of God, I've moved on to speak to audiences of 1,000, 2,000, and large audience. There was a time I was speaking to audiences of over 10,000 at the Deeper Life retreat. So these were things that I may never need to clap for that one. So these are things that I have worked on while I was in what? Secondary school. Like this young man there, I used to tell him, when you become the head boy, you will do this. He will always come to my DM, saying, Agida, how can I do this? How can I? So he's ready to learn. Then the one now, Akemini, is also doing the same thing, always coming to my DM, asking, how can I? You must make, though many of you are leaving secondary school already. But when you get to the university, whatever opportunities you have, make good use of them. Join associations that will help your life. Be in a student fellowship. There's nothing that you can benefit outside God. I can tell you categorically, the young man that you are seeing here is a product of God's grace. So you must take God seriously. And that's why many young people are missing it. And the funniest thing is that God is interested in you, young people. God is what? It's don't say you until you are 25, you will start becoming great. No. David was just young when he was anointed a king. Josiah was just 8 years old when he became a king. Samuel was just very young when he was hearing God. And a lot of others I can mention. Jeremiah was just a kid. If you look at Jeremiah chapter 1, 5-7, you will see in that Bible verse where God was telling him that I have sent you, I have anointed you a prophet. Before I knew you, I formed. So before you came to this world, God knows what you want to become. And God that has given you that purpose is the only one that can guide you. He's the only one that can reveal it to you. My purpose, whatever it was revealed to me in the presence of God. You cannot get the purpose of God in the place of the devil. You will only end up being one of these stars that are using their talent for the devil. So you must discover your plans in the purpose, in the presence of God. You see what I'm saying? I was sharing with some persons who, do you view my WhatsApp status this morning? Okay, many persons who were on my WhatsApp cycle. I was sharing with them this morning of a meeting I had last week with the Olu of Wari. And I was telling them that from the pictures that they took, in fact, I realized it later, when I was in the palace before the king, and before getting, I was like, what would I say? Look at that one doing video when I'm talking. But you not realize late what I'm saying. No. You see, now listen. One thing I've come to realize. Now listen, give me attention. Give me attention now. One thing I've come to realize is that when I come to speak, maybe everybody will change. It might just be one person. I've been to an event of over 500 people when only one person gave her life to Christ. And I was happy. Many are called, but what? Few are chosen. But whatever I'm telling you here today, don't trivialize it. Hold it with high esteem. How many minutes more do I have now? Is that what? Yeah, wow. So do not trivialize whatever I'm telling you here. So back to my son, I was in the car heading to the palace. I was like, God, what will I say to this man? This is a king, a popular king. And the Spirit just said, don't worry, I'm going to inspire with your words. And that's how I was bringing things that I would say. And when I got there, I was speaking with all confidence to him. And some of those pictures, you could see when the chiefs were. And I was not telling most of those people on my WhatsApp cycle that from those pictures, you could see that the chiefs were concentrated on what this young boy was saying. The king too was like this. I was looking. Now, that could have only been God. It's rare that you see a young person in this generation who will stand so confidently, boldly, and speak like that. It is only what the excellent spirit from God that can help you do that. So you must take God seriously. I don't go to an event where I don't talk about God because it's my source. And whatever he has for me, by the grace of God, I have not started. There's more to come. So that's why I must be in the secret place if I have many dreams. So young ladies, young men, young female, whatever in the house, I have not come here to intimidate you with whatever I have got. I've only come here to challenge you that there's life after school, the life where you develop yourself, the life where you discover who you really are, the life where you meet people who can either mold your destiny or mar your destiny. Many of you, God has this destiny that you are going to become. Many females, you become the likes of Okonji Iweala, you become the likes of wonderful ladies in Nigeria. But many of them, today, when many of you go to the university, you will still see bad people. That is how to be an Okonji Iweala. You are what? Don't let me say the opposite. So, develop yourself, stay closely with God, and God will help you. I think I've come to the close of my discussion. Thank you for giving me the audience. God bless you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, sir. Young lady, thank you.